Some nights feel like a soft doorway. Outside, the world seems to lower its voice. A thin moon rests above dark water, and the surface holds a faint, silvery shine, like someone gently brushed it with a sleepy paintbrush. Fog drifts in slow ribbons, not in a hurry to be anywhere else. Even the air feels padded, as if it's wearing warm socks, and if you listen closely, you might notice how nature has its own bedtime manners. The wind doesn't shout. It simply moves along, politely, like it's trying not to wake anyone. The water keeps its small, steady sounds, little hushes and sighs, like it's practicing a lullaby it's known for thousands of years. Soft humor slips in here, like a friendly whisper. Even the ice looks like it's doing relaxation training. It just lies there, being magnificent, with absolutely no pressure to be productive. Honestly, the ice has the right idea. Welcome to sleepy nature sleep, where the wild grows soft and curiosity becomes calm. Tonight, let your thoughts follow the rhythm of the earth, your breathing settle like evening wind, and your mind wander gently through the quiet wild. If this place feels peaceful, you're always welcome back, like a quiet campfire that never runs out of warmth. No membership card required, only your presence. Just you, the night, and a gentle story waiting with the patience of a long winter sky. And if you'd like to support the channel, it helps us keep the night lights low and the nature facts cozy. A small gesture, a quiet kindness, like leaving an extra blanket folded at the end of the bed. Tonight, we drift northward, not with any urgency, but with the slow confidence of a snowflake choosing where to land. We're going to Greenland, into deep fjords where the sea becomes still and glossy, and along the vast ice sheet where the world turns pale, smooth, and serene. In Greenland, the landscapes don't perform, they simply exist. Fjord walls rise like silent guardians, softened by distance and night haze. Ice rests in broad, gentle fields, holding old light inside it, blue tones, milky whites, and that delicate shimmer that feels almost like a secret. So let your shoulders loosen, let your jaw unclench, let your thoughts unspool like a thin thread, set down carefully. And as we enter this quiet story of Greenland's fjords and ice sheet, we'll carry one small question with us. Simple, nature-rooted, and calm enough to fall asleep beside. Some questions don't arrive like a knock on the door. They arrive like fog, quiet, patient, and slightly mysterious, drifting into your mind as you exhale. As we float gently along Greenland's fjords, the night feels wide and kind. The water is dark, but not empty. It holds the faint glimmer of moonlight the way a calm person holds a secret, without needing to explain it. The cliffs sit nearby like sleeping shoulders, heavy with stillness, softened by distance. Somewhere, far off, an iceberg rests in the water like a slow thought that decided to stop thinking. And that's where tonight's question appears. Not big, not complicated, just quietly present. What does it mean for a landscape to hold you? Not in the dramatic sense, not in the movie scene sense. More like the way a warm blanket holds your feet, or the way a familiar room holds your tiredness without judging it, the way a gentle place seems to say, "You can soften here." Greenland has a special talent for that. The fjords feel like long, calm corridors carved for silence. The ice sheet feels like a wide, pale page that never rushes you to finish a sentence. Even the wind, when it moves, seems to move carefully, as if it has learned the art of not interrupting. There's a soft kind of comfort in this, a relief almost, like stepping out of a noisy crowd and into a quiet hallway where nobody asks you to be impressive. A little humor drifts in too, because the ice is confidently unbothered. It doesn't check notifications. It doesn't circle back. It doesn't even pretend to enjoy productivity culture. It simply lies there, being ancient and beautiful, like, I will reply to your emails in approximately never. And somehow, that's soothing. When I imagine standing here, really standing, boots on cold stone near the water, I feel my chest loosen. Not because everything is solved, just because everything is allowed to be slow. The fjord doesn't demand answers. The ice doesn't ask you to explain yourself. The night doesn't need a performance. So let that question sit beside you, like a calm companion. What does it mean for a landscape to hold you? Maybe it means your thoughts can rest on something steady. Maybe it means your breathing can borrow the rhythm of water. Maybe it means you don't have to carry everything alone for a little while. And as we continue, drifting deeper into Greenland's quiet, through glassy fjords, along the endless ice sheet, we'll return to this question now and then, the way you return to a favorite feeling, softly, slowly, like coming home to stillness. Greenland at night doesn't try to impress you. It simply exists, wide, quiet, and comfortable in its own silence. The sky holds a deep, velvety dark, and the stars sit calmly in place, as if they've agreed not to move too much while you're trying to rest. The air feels clean and cool, like a fresh sheet turned down at bedtime. Below that sky, the fjords stretch inward from the sea, long, slow pathways of water between steep rock walls. The cliffs look still and thoughtful, like they've been listening for a very long time. Sometimes they wear a dusting of snow, sometimes a darker coat of bare stone, and sometimes a gentle fog scarf, loosely draped over their shoulders. The water in the fjord doesn't sparkle loudly. It glows softly, carrying moonlight in thin silver threads. There are rules to this world, but they're not the kind that demand anything from you. They're the kind that quietly explain why everything feels so calm. Greenland's rhythm is shaped by cold air, steady seasons, and ice that changes slowly, patiently, like a long inhale and a longer exhale. The ice sheet inland is a vast, pale presence, holding layers of winters stacked like folded blankets. Along its edges, glaciers ease toward the fjords in their own unhurried way, creating icebergs that drift like sleepy thoughts in the water. A small piece of gentle science slips in, only as much as we need. Fjords are often carved by glaciers, shaped over long time by ice and gravity, then filled by the sea. And because melting ice adds fresh water, the fjord can hold subtle layers, fresh water near the surface, saltier water below, like a calm drink with delicate layers you don't stir because why interrupt something that's already peaceful? Soft humor, just a feather-light touch. If the fjord had a job title, it would be Senior Manager of Stillness. It would also be the kind of manager who never schedules meetings before noon. And as we move through this landscape, we'll follow the gentle patterns that make Greenland feel like a lullaby. The way wind smooths itself out, the way water settles into a quiet sheen, the way animals conserve energy with elegant simplicity. There's no need for sharp details tonight. We're here for soft edges, snowy slopes, distant ice, the muted hush of a world that knows how to rest. If you can, imagine standing here for a moment, not to do anything, just to be, and notice what happens in your body when the scenery doesn't demand your attention, when it simply offers it, like an open hand. Let your breathing match the pace of this place. Slow, steady, kind. The fjord water tonight looks like a dark mirror that decided to become a blanket instead. It lies flat and smooth, holding the sky's reflection with gentle care. The moon doesn't shine harshly on it. It rests there, softened, like a lamp turned low. Along the edges, a thin skin of ice may form in quiet patches, not dramatic, just a small suggestion that the night is cool and calm. If you listen, the soundscape is minimal in the nicest way. A faint lap against stone, a soft whisper where tiny pieces of ice touch, a hush that feels like it has been carefully arranged for sleep. It's the kind of quiet that doesn't feel empty. It feels full of peace. Here's a little gentle science, the kind you can hold loosely. Fjord waters can be layered. In places where glaciers and ice melt feed the surface, the top can be slightly fresher. Below, the water often carries more salt from the sea. These layers don't always mix quickly, and that can create a calm, stacked feeling, like the fjord is tucking itself in, one layer at a time. Sometimes the surface can feel almost silky, while deeper currents move with a slow, steady patience. And in that layered world, tiny life can drift, plankton and small organisms that move with the water more than against it. We don't need to name them all tonight. Just imagine them as gentle sparks of life, floating, turning, being carried. Even that feels soothing. Existence as a slow ride, not a struggle. A soft aside with a small smile. Plankton are basically the world's tiniest night swimmers, except they don't seem interested in lap times or personal bests. They simply plankton. It's honestly admirable. As the fjord stretches inward, the cliffs rise like quiet walls of a cathedral made of stone and snow. The rock holds old textures, frozen ripples, cracks softened by frost, dark patches where the stone shows through like calm punctuation. In places, snow drapes over ledges in gentle curves, the way a duvet settles naturally. Standing here, if you imagine it, you might feel something simple and human. Relief. Not because anything has changed, but because nothing is asking you to perform. The fjord doesn't want your opinions. The water doesn't need your plans. It holds the sky without effort. It holds the ice without complaint. So let your thoughts do the same. Let them float. Let them layer. A surface thought can drift by, and a deeper thought can rest below, and neither has to collide with the other. And as we drift deeper into Greenland's quiet, we carry that feeling with us. Water is a soft place to set the mind down for a while. An iceberg in a Greenland fjord is like a piece of the ice sheet that decided to go on a very calm vacation. It doesn't hurry. It doesn't announce itself. It simply appears, pale, quiet and softly luminous, like a slow-moving sculpture that forgot it was supposed to be in a museum. Under the moonlight, the iceberg shows gentle shades, chalky white, faint blue, sometimes a soft gray where shadows rest. The surface can look smooth in places and textured in others, like it has been lovingly carved by time, wind, and water, patient artists with no deadlines, and the water around it holds it carefully, rocking it with subtle motions that feel almost like breathing. A bit of gentle science, but only the cozy kind. Icebergs are born from glaciers, where ice meets the sea and pieces separate. The word for that is calving, which sounds a little like a farm scene. And that's mildly funny when you consider we're talking about enormous ice. Still, the feeling can be quiet, more like a slow release than a big event. After that, the iceberg drifts and the water shapes it over time, smoothing edges, hollowing tiny curves, polishing surfaces into softer forms. And here's the sweet detail. Most of the iceberg sits below the water. What you see is only a small portion, like a thought that rises into awareness, while most of it remains comfortably in the background. There's something very sleep-friendly about that. It makes you feel less pressured to know everything at once. Soft humor, gentle as a yawn. If icebergs had personalities, many of them would be the quiet friend at a party who stands near the snack table and somehow becomes everyone's favorite. No small talk, just presence. Excellent vibes. In the fjord, the iceberg may carry tiny marks, lines, bubbles, layers, like pages in a slow book. Those layers are winters pressed together. Snow that fell long ago, settled, transformed, became part of something bigger. And when you imagine that kind of time, layer upon layer, it can make your own worries feel lighter, not dismissed, just smaller, like a pebble held next to a mountain. If you were standing near the shore, watching an iceberg drift, you might feel a quiet tenderness. Not the loud kind, the kind that rises softly in the chest and says, "This is beautiful, and I don't have to do anything about it." So let your eyes follow the iceberg's slow path. Let your breathing become steady. Let your thoughts float like pale shapes on dark water. And when the iceberg turns slightly, catching a different angle of moonlight, let that be your cue to soften even more. Like the night itself is gently dimming the world for you. Somewhere along the edge of the ice, a seal rests like a small, content comma in the sentence of the night. Its body is smooth and rounded, perfectly suited for water, perfectly happy with stillness. It may lift its head for a moment, then settle again, as if it remembers that tonight is for quiet. The ice it rests on looks like a calm platform, nothing flashy, just stable enough, cool enough, familiar enough. A seal doesn't need a plush pillow. It has the Arctic version of comfort. A good spot on the ice, a steady breath, and the gentle certainty that it belongs here. A little gentle science, the soothing kind. Seals have thick layers of blubber that help them stay warm in cold water. It's not armor tonight, just insulation, like nature's cozy jacket built right in. Their bodies are made for conserving warmth and energy. Their movements, when they do move, can be smooth and economical, like they've mastered the art of doing only what's necessary and nothing more. Soft humor drifts in. Seals look like they invented the concept of lying down with confidence. If you've ever tried to get comfortable and ended up adjusting your pillow 10 times, a seal would probably watch you with quiet sympathy and think, "Friend, simply become a seal." In the fjord, the water holds subtle sounds. The seal may slide in and out of it with hardly a ripple, and even when it swims, it doesn't look like it's rushing to accomplish anything. It looks like it's moving the way a lullaby moves, steady, gentle, repetitive, soothing. Imagine standing here, watching. Your shoulders might drop without you noticing. Your face might soften. There's something emotionally comforting about seeing an animal at ease in its world. It reminds you that rest is not a reward you earn. Sometimes it's simply a state you return to. The fjord air is cool, but not harsh. The cliffs sit quietly. The ice holds its shape in the low light. And the seal continues its calm routine. Pause, breathe, rest. The kind of simple pattern that feels like a guide for your own nervous system. So if your thoughts feel busy tonight, let the seal teach you, gently. You don't have to chase them. You can let them drift. You can let them settle on the surface and then sink softly out of view. Inhale slowly, exhale longer, pause, breathe again. And as we drift onward, deeper into Greenland's quiet, we carry this small lesson like a warm stone in the pocket. Rest can be simple, and simple can be enough. Near the fjord's edge, where snow meets stone and the land rises softly away from the water, an Arctic fox can appear like a small whisper with pause. In winter, its fur may look bright and pale, blending with snow as if it borrowed the night's softest color. It doesn't arrive loudly. It simply becomes visible, one quiet shape moving through a quiet world. The fox pauses. It listens. It looks around with calm attention, like it's reading the landscape the way you read a familiar page. Its ears tilt slightly, not in alarm, just in curiosity. Its tail rests behind it like a fluffy question mark, which feels appropriate tonight, since we've been carrying a question of our own. A bit of gentle science, tucked into the folds of the story. The Arctic fox is built for cold. Its fur is thick and insulating, and its body is compact, good for keeping warmth close. It has a talent for living in places that look minimal, places where the beauty is subtle and the resources come and go with seasons, and it adapts quietly, like nature's reminder that flexibility can be soft, not stressful. Soft humor, light as snow. The Arctic fox looks like it's wearing a luxury winter coat that would cost a fortune in any city, except it got it for free by simply being born fabulous. Honestly, nature is unfair in the most adorable way. The fox moves slowly over the snow, leaving delicate prints behind. Those tracks feel like small signatures, proof that life passed through here, calmly, without needing applause. The land around it might hold low plants buried under snow, and hardy patches of tundra that wait patiently for warmer light. Even the ground feels like it's resting, storing energy, holding its breath in the cold. If you imagine standing nearby at a respectful distance, you might feel a gentle emotion rise. Wonder. Not loud wonder, not the kind that makes you gasp. The quiet kind that warms the chest and softens the eyes. The kind that says, "I'm lucky to see this." The fjord behind the fox reflects faint moonlight. The cliffs remain still, The air feels clean and simple, and the fox continues, unbothered, calm, as if it trusts the night to be what it is. So let your mind become like that fox for a moment, curious but not tense. A thought can appear, you can notice it, and then you can let it wander off without following it. You don't have to solve anything tonight. You don't have to catch anything. You don't even have to be particularly wise. You only have to be here, breathing slowly, watching softly, letting the quiet hold you. The fjord has a way of breathing without ever looking like it's trying. One moment, the water sits slightly higher against the rocks, as if it's leaning in for comfort. Another moment, it eases back quietly, politely, leaving behind a thin shine on the stones, like a gentle kiss of moonlight that lingers after the moon has already looked away. Tonight, the tide feels like a slow, dependable rhythm. Not dramatic, not demanding, just steady. It's the kind of motion you can trust your nervous system to copy. An inhale that arrives, an exhale that releases. A bit of gentle science tucked into a warm pocket. Tides come from the pull of the moon and the sun, and in fjords, that rise and fall can feel especially intimate. The water doesn't rush in like it has something to prove. It simply shifts its position, a small change spread across a wide, calm surface. Sometimes the shape of the fjord and its narrow openings can soften how tides move, so the changes feel more like quiet adjustments than loud announcements. Along the shore, the tide rearranges tiny details. A small piece of ice rests against a pebble, then drifts away again as the water lifts. A strand of seaweed, dark and glossy, rocks gently like a lullaby on repeat. If you look closely, you might notice little lines of foam, delicate as lace, tracing the edge where water meets stone. Soft humor floats by like a feather. If the fjord had a daily planner, the tide would be the only thing written in it. Just one appointment. Rise a little, fall a little, repeat. Honestly, that's a schedule I could respect. The cliffs above remain still, wearing their snow in quiet folds. The air feels cool and clean, like the world has been rinsed. Somewhere out there, the ice sheet waits in its own wide silence. But here, right here, the tide makes the fjord feel alive in the gentlest way. Not busy alive, resting alive, like a sleeping person whose breath tells you everything is okay. If you imagine standing at the shore, you might feel something tender, almost childlike, the relief of having nothing to fix. You can simply watch. You can simply listen. The tide doesn't ask you to interpret it. It just offers you a rhythm. So let your breath join it. Inhale slowly as the water seems to rise. Exhale longer as it eases back. Let your thoughts become like small drift ice, floating, turning, then settling again. You don't have to steer them. You can let the tide of the night carry them gently, like it has carried so many quiet moments before you. Above the fjord, the sky sometimes begins to do something soft and surprising, like a hush that suddenly becomes visible. A faint green glow appears at the edge of the darkness, thin as a brushstroke. Then it widens, slowly, as if the night is unfolding a ribbon. The aurora doesn't flash like a spotlight. It drifts, it sways. It hangs in the sky like a set of curtains moving in a room with a barely there breeze. The colors can shift, green into pale yellow, sometimes a hint of pink, so delicate it feels like the sky is blushing in its sleep. A small piece of gentle science, kept light enough for bedtime. The aurora happens when charged particles from the sun meet Earth's atmosphere and interact with its gases. The planet's magnetic field guides those particles toward the poles, where the sky can glow with this slow dance of light. It's not the kind of fact you need to hold tightly, just a simple reminder that even the invisible parts of the universe can become tender and visible given the right conditions. Soft humor slips in with slippers on. The aurora always looks like it's rehearsing for a performance, but in the sweetest way. No tickets, no audience pressure, just, "Hello, I brought a little light. Hope that's okay." Below, the fjord water receives the colors without fuss. The surface takes the glow and stretches it into long, wavering reflections. A green ribbon in the sky becomes a green ribbon in the water, slightly blurred, as if the fjord is half asleep and seeing things through dreamy eyes. If you imagine yourself standing there, you might feel your chest fill with a quiet awe. Soft awe, not loud. The kind that makes your face relax. The kind that gently unties a knot you didn't realize you were holding. The cliffs become darker silhouettes, as if they've stepped back to let the light have space. Icebergs sit in the fjord like pale listeners, letting the aurora speak without interruption. Even the wind, if it moves at all, seems careful, like it knows this is a moment for slow. There's something emotionally comforting about the aurora's patience. It doesn't hurry to finish. It doesn't insist you get the perfect photo. It simply continues, moving at its own pace, inviting you to match it. So let your breath become a curtain too. Inhale as the light rises. Exhale as it softens. Let your thoughts drift in gentle waves, appearing, shifting, fading, without needing to become anything more than they are. And if your mind tries to do what minds do, plan, replay, organize, let the aurora remind you. Some beauty is meant to be watched, not managed. Tonight, you are allowed to simply be under the sky and let the sky be gentle back. In Greenland, a glacier is a river that chose a different pace. It doesn't sparkle. It doesn't chatter. It simply rests and moves so slowly that movement becomes a kind of quiet secret. From a distance, the glacier can look like a pale roadway flowing between mountains, a wide tongue of ice easing toward the fjord. Its surface holds subtle textures, smooth areas like pressed silk, ridges like folded fabric, and faint lines where snow settled year after year. The moonlight softens everything, turning hard edges into gentle curves. A little gentle science, calm enough to hold in one hand. Glaciers form when snow falls, piles up, compresses, and slowly becomes ice. Over long time, that ice can shift downslope under its own weight, moving like a very slow pour. It's not the kind of motion you see in a moment. It's the kind of motion you feel when you remember that time exists in many speeds. Soft humor, barely louder than a whisper. If glaciers could talk, they'd be the friend who always says, "I'll be there in 5 minutes," and then arrives in 5 geological minutes. Still, you'd forgive them because look at them. They're doing their best. Near the glacier's edge, the ice can carry a faint blue glow, like light held inside a frozen glass. That blue comes from the way dense ice interacts with light, but you don't need the details tonight. You only need the feeling. The glacier looks like it is made of calm itself. Where the glacier meets the fjord, the boundary feels intimate. The water holds the ice gently, and the ice leans into the water as if it trusts it. Sometimes small pieces break away and become icebergs that drift. But even that can feel like a slow release, like the glacier letting go of a thought it's been holding for a long time. If you imagine standing near this place, you might feel a soft hush in your chest, a quiet respect, maybe even a little tenderness. The glacier has been here through so many nights, so many winters, so many slow changes. And it doesn't ask for applause. It simply continues being what it is. Let that be comforting. Let it remind you that you don't have to change quickly to be real. You don't have to figure everything out tonight. Like the glacier, you can move in tiny increments. You can rest. You can shift gently toward ease. So as we drift along the fjord's edge, keep the glacier in your mind like a steady companion, cool, patient, quietly luminous. Let your breathing become slow and deep, as if your body is remembering its own ancient rhythm. Not all of Greenland's life is large enough to spot from far away. Some of it lives close to the rock, in tiny worlds where softness survives by being patient. Along a cliff ledge or on a boulder near the shore, you might find a patch of moss, deep green, plush like velvet. Nearby, lichen spreads in pale crusts, soft grays and gentle yellows, like nature's quiet watercolor on stone. In moonlight, these small lives don't shout their colors. They hold them calmly, like they're saving brightness for later. A gentle piece of science, the cozy kind. Lichen is a partnership, usually a fungus and an algae or cyanobacteria living together. The fungus provides structure and protection, and the algae helps make energy from light. It's cooperation, not as a grand statement, but as a simple, practical way of existing. Moss, too, often thrives by holding moisture and growing where it can, creating small cushions that make harsh surfaces feel softer. Soft humor arrives, tiptoeing. Lichen is basically the original roommate arrangement. One says, "I'll handle the walls," and the other says, "Cool, I'll handle the snacks." Somehow it works. Honestly, we could learn something. These tiny plants and partners often grow slowly, adding a millimeter here, a little patch there. No rush, no dramatic timeline, just steady presence. They cling to stone like gentle determination, the quiet kind that doesn't need motivational quotes. If you imagine kneeling near a rock to look closely, you might feel your heart soften. There's something comforting about small life thriving in a big, cold landscape. It makes the world feel less intimidating. It reminds you that survival can look like softness, not toughness, like a green cushion tucked into a crack of stone, like a pale lichen map spreading patiently across a surface. The fjord behind you remains still. The air feels clean. The night holds its silence like a gift. And here, in the smallest details, the land whispers a message. You don't have to be loud to be resilient. You can be quiet and still be strong in your own way. Let that sink in gently. Let it feel like a warm thought placed carefully in your mind. And if you've been hard on yourself lately, if you've felt like you should be doing more, moving faster, let the moss and lichen offer a simpler lesson. Slow growth is still growth. Soft persistence is still persistence. Tonight, you can be like them. You can rest in your corner of the world. You can be small. You can be quiet. And you can still belong completely. On Greenland's tundra, where the land rises away from the fjords and stretches into open, quiet spaces, a musk ox can appear like a moving hill wrapped in fur. Its shape is sturdy and calm. Its coat hangs thick and long, as if it's wearing winter itself, heavy and warm, made for the cold with no complaint. In the moonlight, a musk ox doesn't look like an animal in a hurry. It looks like an animal that understands the value of saving energy. It stands, it breathes. Its warm breath may form a small cloud that floats upward and disappears, like a thought released gently into the night. A little gentle science, tucked in like a scarf. Musk oxen have thick underwool called kiviat that insulates them during long, cold seasons. Their bodies are built for warmth and endurance, and they often move with quiet steadiness, choosing calm routines over unnecessary effort. In a place where resources can be seasonal, this kind of slow, thoughtful living makes sense. Soft humor tiptoes in. The musk ox is basically a walking blanket with legs. If it ever looked at your winter jacket, it might nod politely and think, "Cute, you tried." The tundra around it can look simple: snow patches, low shrubs, hardy plants waiting beneath the cold. The landscape doesn't offer constant variety. It offers steadiness, and the musk ox matches that perfectly, like it belongs to the silence. If you imagine seeing one up close, still at a respectful distance, you might feel a quiet admiration. There's something deeply soothing about an animal that looks so comfortable in its own presence. It doesn't apologize for taking up space. It doesn't rush to be something else. It simply is. Solid, calm, warm, breathed in the cold. That feeling can soften something in you too, a reminder that you don't have to earn rest. You don't have to justify being tired. You can stand in your own life the way the muskox stands on the tundra, grounded, patient, and quietly sure. Let your breath mimic that warm cloud. Inhale slowly, exhale, and let the air leave you gently, as if it's melting a small worry on its way out. The night remains wide. The fjords remain quiet behind us. The ice sheet waits beyond, pale and steady, and the muskox continues its calm routine, breathing, resting, belonging to the tundra as naturally as you belong to sleep. Along the fjord's tall rock walls, the cliffs begin to feel like quiet apartment buildings, only these ones are made of stone, dusted with snow, and designed by time instead of architects. High up on narrow ledges, seabirds settle into their nightly routines. In the dim light, their small silhouettes against a vast face of rock, like gentle punctuation marks on a dark page. Their calls drift across the water, not sharp, not urgent, more like soft conversation carried on the breeze. A few notes, a pause, another note. It's the kind of sound that doesn't demand attention, but if you notice it, it feels oddly comforting, like hearing someone murmur in another room while you're safe under blankets. A little gentle science, tucked in quietly. Many seabirds nest in cliff colonies because ledges offer shelter from wind and a safe place to rest close together. Some return to the same nesting areas year after year, guided by memory and familiarity. Their bodies are built for coastal air and cold water, streamlined shapes, strong wings, steady instincts that feel less like strategy and more like quiet belonging. soft humor, feather light. A seabird colony sometimes sounds like a group chat, but in bird language. Lots of messages, very few emojis. Although if you watch them long enough, you'll swear some of the head tilts are emojis. The fjord carries their voices gently. Water reflects the cliffs in long, dark streaks, and the birds become part of the landscape's calm texture. Sound stitched into stone, motion tucked into stillness. If an iceberg drifts nearby, the calls ripple faintly against its pale side, as if the ice is listening too. Standing here in your imagination, you may feel something tender. It's comforting to know life continues quietly, even in cold places. Not loud life, not busy life, just steady life, resting, returning, staying close. And if we bring back our gentle question, what does it mean for a landscape to hold you? Maybe the cliffs answer in their own way. They hold the nests without complaint. They hold the birds without asking them to explain themselves. They offer a ledge, a little shelter, a place to be still. Let that idea settle into you. Let it feel simple. Sometimes being held is just being given a safe edge to rest on. A ledge of quiet. A space where your thoughts don't have to fly around endlessly. So as the seabird calls drift softer and softer, let your breathing follow the same pattern. A small sound in, a longer hush out, and then a pause, gentle and easy, like the fjord itself is listening. Near the glacier's edge, the ice sometimes forms shapes that feel almost indoor. Arches, hollows, gentle tunnels where light softens and turns blue. Even thinking about it makes the mind quiet down, as if you've stepped into a place where voices naturally drop to a whisper. Inside that blue glow, everything looks calmer. The ice is not plain white here. It's layered, translucent, deepening into shades of blue like a slow breath deepening. The walls can look smooth in places and faintly ribbed in others, like draped fabric frozen mid-fold. And the air feels cool and still, the way a room feels when nobody is moving too much. A small piece of gentle science, held lightly. Dense ice can appear blue because it absorbs parts of light and lets other parts travel through, and blue tends to linger. Meltwater can shape small channels and hollows, and over time, those spaces can become rounded, softened, almost sculpted. It's not a construction project. It's more like nature slowly rearranging the furniture of the frozen world. Soft humor, barely audible. If the glacier had interior design preferences, it would clearly be into minimalist blue mood lighting. Very calming, very on brand. No clutter, no unnecessary throw pillows. Outside, the fjord remains dark and glossy, but in this imagined blue chamber, the world feels like it has paused. You might notice your chest loosen, your thoughts quiet down. There's something emotionally soothing about the color itself, blue that feels like deep water and sky at the same time. And in that quiet, our question returns softly. What does it mean for a landscape to hold you? Maybe here it means the ice creates a space that feels protected, even if only for a moment. A small sanctuary made of patience, a place where light is filtered, softened, made gentle enough for tired minds. If you've been carrying too many thoughts, imagine setting them down on the cool blue floor like smooth stones, not throwing them away, just placing them somewhere safe. The ice doesn't judge what you bring. It simply holds the temperature steady. It keeps the light low. It offers quiet. Stay here for a few breaths. Let the blue settle your nervous system. Inhale slowly, as if drawing in cool air. Exhale longer, as if releasing warmth gently, without any rush. And when you step back out in your imagination, you carry some of that blue with you, like a calm tint over your thoughts. So even the fjord's darkness feels softer, and even the night feels like it's helping you rest. Near the glacier's edge, the ice sometimes forms shapes that feel almost indoor. Arches, hollows, gentle tunnels where light softens and turns blue. Even thinking about it makes the mind quiet down, as if you've stepped into a place where voices naturally drop to a whisper. Inside that blue glow, everything looks calmer. The ice is not plain white here. It's layered, translucent, deepening into shades of blue like a slow breath deepening. The walls can look smooth in places and faintly ribbed in others, like draped fabric frozen mid-fold. And the air feels cool and still, the way a room feels when nobody is moving too much. A small piece of gentle science held lightly. Dense ice can appear blue because it absorbs parts of light and lets other parts travel through, and blue tends to linger. Meltwater can shape small channels and hollows, and over time, those spaces can become rounded, softened, almost sculpted. It's not a construction project. It's more like nature slowly rearranging the furniture of the frozen world. Soft humor, barely audible. If the glacier had interior design preferences, it would clearly be into minimalist blue mood lighting. Very calming, very on brand, no clutter, no unnecessary throw pillows. Outside, the fjord remains dark and glossy, but in this imagined blue chamber, the world feels like it has paused. You might notice your chest loosen, your thoughts quiet down. There's something emotionally soothing about the color itself, blue that feels like deep water and sky at the same time. And in that quiet, our question returns softly. What does it mean for a landscape to hold you? Maybe here it means the ice creates a space that feels protected, even if only for a moment. A small sanctuary made of patience. A place where light is filtered, softened, made gentle enough for tired minds. If you've been carrying too many thoughts, imagine setting them down on the cool blue floor like smooth stones. Not throwing them away, just placing them somewhere safe. The ice doesn't judge what you bring. It simply holds the temperature steady. It keeps the light low. It offers quiet. Stay here for a few breaths. Let the blue settle your nervous system. Inhale slowly, as if drawing in cool air. Exhale longer, as if releasing warmth gently, without any rush. And when you step back out in your imagination, you carry some of that blue with you, like a calm tint over your thoughts. So even the fjord's darkness feels softer, and even the night feels like it's helping you rest. Under the fjord's smooth, dark water, there is another world, one that moves softly, without needing the sky. It's a quieter kind of life, tucked beneath reflections, beneath moonlight, beneath the thin shimmer that makes the surface look like polished stone. Down there, cold water fish glide with steady calm. They don't thrash. They don't fuss. They move the way sleep feels, slow, continuous, unbothered. If you imagine an Arctic char or other cold-loving fish, picture a gentle shape slipping through dark water, like a thought sliding into the back of the mind. A little gentle science kept cozy. Cold water holds oxygen well, and many Arctic fish are adapted to low temperatures with bodies that conserve energy. Their movements tend to be efficient and smooth, and their senses tune into subtle changes, vibration, current, faint shifts in light. It's a quiet way of being attentive, not anxious attentive, just naturally aware. Soft humor, like a sleepy grin. These fish are the introverts of the fjord. No meetings, no small talk, just a calm glide past your problems like, I support you, but from a respectful distance. The fjord's layers, freshened by meltwater near the top, saltier, deeper down, can create gentle gradients that fish navigate without drama. Sometimes they follow currents as if they're being carried by a slow conveyor belt made of water. Sometimes they pause in calmer pockets, suspended, as if hovering is simply the normal way to rest. If you were floating above, you might not see them at all. And that invisibility feels soothing in its own way. It reminds you that not everything has to be witnessed to be real. Some life happens quietly, out of view, and it's still complete. That thought can feel emotional, softly comforting, because you too can have quiet parts of yourself that don't need to be displayed. You can rest without explaining. You can be present without performing. And there it is again, our question. What does it mean for a landscape to hold you? Maybe it means it offers layers, surface thoughts, and deeper thoughts, and it allows both to exist without colliding. The fjord holds fish beneath the surface the same way it holds moonlight above it, gently, without forcing either one to be the main story. So let your mind become like the fjord water tonight. Let some thoughts float on top, thin and harmless. Let others sink deeper, where they can quiet down. And let your breath move like those fish, smooth, steady, with nothing to prove. Inhale, glide. Exhale, glide, and drift onward, held by the calm beneath the surface. Far along the fjord, human presence can appear in the gentlest way. Small clusters of lights in the distance, warm and steady, like candles placed carefully against a vast night. A village near the waterline doesn't feel like it interrupts the landscape. It feels like it belongs to it, the way a small lantern belongs in a quiet room. You might imagine simple houses with warm windows, the soft glow spilling onto snow like honey-colored light. Smoke may rise faintly from a chimney, drifting upward and thinning into the dark, as if the night is calmly receiving it. The fjord remains wide and still, and the lights don't compete with it. They simply add a note of warmth to the silence. A little gentle science, more like gentle realism. In cold places, warmth becomes a kind of daily art. Buildings hold heat. Light becomes precious. People move through routines that favor steadiness and comfort. In Greenland, communities often sit close to the coast, where travel and life connect with the sea and the seasons. But we don't need many details tonight. We only need the feeling. Warmth can exist without loudness. Soft humor, like a small chuckle into your pillow. If you've ever tried to be aesthetic with lighting at home, Greenland has you beat. One warm window in the dark fjord night, and suddenly it's peak cozy, effortless, professional-grade Higa vibes. And standing here in your imagination, you may feel something tender, an unexpected softness in the chest, because the lights suggest safety. Not absolute safety, not a promise, just a simple human comfort. Someone made a place warm. Someone brewed something hot. Someone is resting too. Our question returns, quieter than ever. What does it mean for a landscape to hold you? Maybe it means the land holds not only ice and water, but also the small, steady lives that settle alongside it. The fjord holds the village's reflections, thin gold lines on dark water, just as it holds the moon. Nothing is forced. Everything is gently allowed. So if your mind has been feeling alone tonight, let these distant windows keep you company. You don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to meet anyone. Just let the idea of warm light exist somewhere nearby, like a soft reassurance. Inhale slowly, as if you're drawing warmth inward. Exhale longer, as if you're letting the cold thoughts melt a little. And as we drift beyond the last lights, back into deeper fjord silence, take that warmth with you, quiet, steady, and small enough to fit inside your breath. Snow has a special talent for making the planet feel quieter than it usually does. In Greenland, it doesn't fall like a dramatic announcement. It arrives like a gentle covering, soft, patient, and oddly polite. It settles on rock ledges, on low tundra plants, on the rounded backs of boulders, as if it's tucking everything in with a careful hand. When snow lies fresh, the sound changes. Footsteps in your imagination become muffled. The fjord's distant water hushes even more. Even the air feels softer, like it's been wrapped in cotton. It's not silent exactly. It's simply calm, as if the landscape decided to lower the volume so your mind could finally hear its own breathing. A little gentle science tucked in like a warm scarf. Snow crystals trap pockets of air. Those pockets help absorb sound, which is one reason snowy places can feel so hushed. And snow also reflects light in a soft way, turning moonlight into a faint glow across the ground, like the night is trying to be helpful. Soft humor drifts in, light as a flake. Snow is basically nature's do not disturb sign. It shows up and says, shh, everyone is resting, even the rocks. Along the fjord's edge, you might notice how snow forms gentle shapes. It rounds off harsh angles. It smooths the cliff's texture into softer lines. It gathers in shallow bowls and creases, making tiny dunes that look like the landscape's slow exhale. The icebergs floating nearby seem even brighter against this pale shore, as if the whole world has chosen a calmer color palette. If you imagine standing here, you may feel an emotion that's simple but powerful: relief. Snow doesn't ask you to be anything. It doesn't demand energy. It makes everything look forgiven. Like the land is saying, it's okay. You can start fresh tomorrow. Tonight, you can rest. Our question returns quietly, like a remembered scent. What does it mean for a landscape to hold you? Maybe it means it makes a space where your thoughts can land gently without bouncing. Snow does that. It catches things softly. It covers sharpness. It makes room. So if your mind feels full of edges tonight, unfinished conversations, half-made plans, lingering worries, imagine them falling like snowflakes, not as problems to solve, just as small pieces that can settle. Let them land on the ground of your awareness and become part of a calm surface. Inhale slowly, as if drawing in cold, clean air. Exhale longer, as if letting your thoughts soften into that snow-quiet world. And if you need a small permission slip, let the landscape write it for you in white. You are allowed to be quiet. You are allowed to be still. You are allowed to rest. In the fjord's deep water, there are lives that feel almost like legends, quiet, real, and rarely in a hurry to show themselves. The narwhal belongs to that category. It's not a creature that performs for attention. It's more like a soft mystery moving beneath the surface, gliding through cold water with the calm confidence of something perfectly adapted. You might imagine a dark shape passing far below, smooth, slow, unbothered. Maybe you picture a small group traveling together, close enough to feel like a shared silence. The surface of the fjord stays glossy, as if it's protecting the secret of what swims underneath. And that secrecy feels peaceful rather than frustrating. It's like the night saying, some things can stay gentle and unknown. A little gentle science kept bedtime soft. Narwhals are Arctic whales, and the long tusk many males have is actually an elongated tooth. It's not a weapon in tonight's story. It's simply a strange and beautiful feature, one of nature's quieter surprises. Narwhals also use sound, clicks and calls, to sense their world in dark water, reading the environment through echoes. It's like listening with their whole body, the way you might listen to rain on a roof. Soft humor slips in, friendly and warm. The narwhal looks like it was designed by someone who said, let's make a whale, but give it a single fancy accessory. One tooth. Very bold, very Arctic chic. The fjord water around them holds layers of temperature and salt, and the narwhal moves through those layers as if drifting through different rooms of the same quiet house. It doesn't splash loudly. It doesn't argue with the current. It follows routes that feel habitual, an unhurried commute through a world made of cold and sound. If you imagine witnessing one from a respectful distance, just a faint ripple, a brief breath, then stillness again, you may feel something tender in your chest. Not excitement in a sharp way, but a soft awe. The kind of feeling that makes you whisper without meaning to. The kind that gently reminds you that life can be both hidden and complete. And our question returns, calmer than ever. What does it mean for a landscape to hold you? Maybe it means it lets you be partly unseen. It lets you move quietly beneath the surface. It lets you keep some parts of yourself private and still be whole. So tonight, you can borrow the narwhal's lesson. You don't have to show everything. You don't have to explain everything. You can simply glide through the dark water of your thoughts with gentle steadiness. Inhale, soft and slow. Exhale, longer and deeper. And let your mind become a fjord, wide, calm, and quietly full of life. Where the fjord meets colder air, the surface sometimes begins to wear delicate ice, like a thin shawl. It doesn't appear all at once. It forms slowly, quiet patches first, then wider stretches, then little shapes that drift and gather, as if the water is practicing being still. Sea ice can look like floating lace in moonlight, smooth sheets in calmer corners, small rounded pieces where movement keeps it broken into gentle discs, thin lines that form and dissolve along the shore like the world sketching and erasing with a soft pencil. A bit of gentle science folded into the story. Sea ice forms when ocean water cools enough to freeze. Because salt changes freezing behavior, the ice-making process can create tiny brine pockets and channels. Over time, the ice becomes its own subtle habitat, holding space for small life in the cold. But tonight, we don't need to catalog anything. We only need the feeling. The water is learning how to rest. Soft humor drifts in like a small smile. Sea ice is basically the fjord's way of saying, "Okay, everybody, let's lie down." It's a group nap, but for water. The sound of sea ice is delicate, a faint clink when two pieces touch, a gentle whisper when thin ice shifts near the shore. It doesn't sound like breaking, it sounds like rearranging blankets. The fjord isn't fighting anything. It's simply adjusting into a calmer shape, responding to temperature the way your body responds to bedtime, slowing down, smoothing out, finding the most comfortable position. If you imagine watching the ice from a quiet viewpoint, perhaps from a rock ledge above, you might feel your eyes grow heavy in the nicest way. Patterns are soothing. Repetition is soothing. The way the ice pieces drift, pause, and drift again can make the mind feel less sticky, less tangled. It's like watching thoughts come and go without grabbing them. And our question returns, soft as frost. What does it mean for a landscape to hold you? Maybe it means it gives you gentle structure, patterns that guide your attention without demanding effort. Sea ice does that. It offers shapes for your eyes to rest on. It offers a slow rhythm for your breath to follow. So let your breathing match the drifting ice. Inhale, a little movement. Exhale, a little settling. Pause, stillness. And if a thought bumps into another thought, let it be like two pieces of ice touching, just a quiet contact, then drifting apart again. No need to analyze, no need to chase. The fjord is teaching you how to float through your own mind. On Greenland's quiet edges, where land meets fjord and the snow lies clean and pale, you might notice tracks, not fresh drama, not urgent signs, just gentle marks in the snow, like handwriting left by animals passing through with calm purpose. A line of small prints, maybe from an Arctic fox, taps across the surface like dotted music. Slightly larger impressions might belong to a hare, soft and spaced, as if the animal moved with careful lightness. Near the shoreline, you might see marks where a bird stood for a moment, then lifted away, leaving a brief star-shaped signature behind. A little gentle science, offered like a bedtime story. Tracks form differently depending on the snow's texture. Powdery snow holds soft impressions, while crusted snow can crack under tiny feet. Wind can blur the edges over time, smoothing prints the way sleep smooths the sharp corners of a day. And because the Arctic can be windy, tracks may fade quickly, returning the ground to its blank, quiet page. Soft humor tiptoes in. Animal tracks are basically nature's little "I was here" notes. No hashtags, no captions, just footprints. Very minimalist, very classy. There's something emotionally soothing about tracks, especially when you're tired. They suggest life without noise, movement without chaos, a world where beings come and go without needing to announce themselves. It can make your chest feel warm in a quiet way, like knowing you're not alone, even when everything is silent. If you imagine walking slowly along the snow, only in your mind, with no effort required, you might feel your thoughts settle into curiosity instead of worry. Who made these? Where were they going? The questions are gentle, not anxious. They're like soft pebbles you can hold for a moment, then set down again. And our question returns. What does it mean for a landscape to hold you? Maybe it means it holds your story lightly. It lets you leave a mark without demanding permanence. Tracks are temporary, and that can feel like mercy. Not everything has to last forever. Not every thought has to stay carved in your mind. Some things can pass through, leave a faint impression, then be smoothed back into peace. So if you're carrying a heavy memory tonight, imagine it becoming a track in snow, visible for a moment, acknowledged, then slowly softened by wind and time. You don't have to erase it forcefully. You can let it fade gently. Inhale, notice, exhale, release, and let the snow teach your mind the art of being a blank page again, clean, quiet, ready for rest. Beyond the fjords, beyond the cliffs and coastal shapes, the Greenland ice sheet spreads inland like a calm, endless blanket. It's the kind of landscape that doesn't offer many distractions, and that's exactly why it feels so restful. Wide, white quiet, soft gradients of snow and ice, a horizon that seems to stretch its arms out and never quite reach the end. In moonlight, the ice sheet can glow faintly, not bright, more like a pale memory of light. Its surface can hold gentle ridges called sastrugi, formed by wind-shaping snow into low waves and grooves. They look like the ice sheet's handwriting, curving lines written slowly, rewritten again, edited gently by the next breeze. A bit of gentle science held like a warm mug. The ice sheet is made from layers of snowfall compressed over a long time. It's thick in many places, and its surface changes subtly with wind, temperature, and seasons. But tonight, we don't need the measurements. We only need the mood. This is a place where time moves softly. Soft humor arrives, very quiet. The ice sheet is the world's most committed minimalist. No clutter, no loud colors, just white, but make it infinite. It's oddly inspiring, and also a little intimidating if you're the type who loses your keys in a clean room. Standing here in your imagination, you may feel a deep calm settle into your body. There's something about a wide, blank landscape that gives the mind permission to stop juggling. It's like looking at a smooth bedsheet and thinking, yes, this is where I can let go. And our question returns, almost whispering now. What does it mean for a landscape to hold you? Maybe it means it offers spaciousness. It gives your thoughts somewhere to spread out and become less crowded. It holds you not by squeezing, but by opening, by making room. So let the ice sheet be a soft mental space tonight. Imagine your worries as small, dark specks that become harder to see against so much white quiet. Not because they don't matter, but because they don't have to be the whole view. Inhale slowly, as if drawing in that spaciousness. Exhale longer, as if laying something down on the snow and walking away without turning back. The ice sheet does not hurry you. The horizon does not pressure you. The night does not demand your thoughts. It simply holds you, wide, steady, and softly enough for sleep. In Greenland, darkness can feel like a soft fabric instead of an empty space. It doesn't press in, it drapes. It settles over fjords and ice the way a blanket settles over a sleeping body. Quietly, evenly, with no sharp edges. The polar night, when it lingers, changes the mood of everything. Colors don't disappear, they simply become quieter. Whites turn to pearl gray. Blues deepen into ink. The cliffs become silhouettes, and the ice sheet becomes a pale suggestion of itself, like the world is half remembered in a dream. A little gentle science, offered like a slow bedtime fact. Far north, the angle of Earth's tilt can mean long stretches of low light or no sun at all, depending on season and latitude. The sky still has its own softness, stars, moon, sometimes aurora, but the daytime brightness becomes more like twilight that never rushes into morning. It's a different kind of clock, one that doesn't keep yelling about time. Soft humor slides in with cozy socks. Polar night is basically the universe saying, let's all just dim the lights for a while. No big announcement, just collective mood lighting. Very restful. In this darkness, animals and people adapt in calm ways. Routines become gentle, energy becomes precious. The landscape itself seems to move less, not because it stops, but because it's doing everything in a slower register. And that slowness can feel like permission. If you imagine standing here, still, bundled, breathing cool air, you might feel something emotional and human. A quiet comfort in the dark. Not fear, not loneliness. More like the relief of not having to be on. The dark doesn't ask you to look good. It doesn't ask you to be productive. It simply says, you can soften now. And our question returns like a whisper under the blanket. What does it mean for a landscape to hold you? Maybe it means it can hold your tiredness without needing to brighten it. It can hold your quiet moods. It can hold your mind as it slows down, the way night holds the world. So let the darkness be kind tonight. Let it be a gentle room. Let your thoughts dim like distant lights on the far side of the fjord. Let your breathing become the only steady thing you follow. Inhale, like a slow star appearing. Exhale, like that star fading behind thin cloud. And as the polar night continues, soft, patient, beautifully unhurried, allow yourself to drift with it. Not into nothingness, into rest, into a quiet that feels safe enough to sleep inside. The ice in Greenland feels like a quiet keeper of memories. Not memories the way humans hold them, full of words and scenes, but the way landscapes remember, in layers, in textures, in shapes, made slowly and kept gently. On the ice sheet, snowfall becomes a soft record. One winter settles on top of another. Wind combs the surface into ridges. Cold presses snow into denser ice. Over long time, the ice becomes a kind of archive, silent, patient, and oddly comforting. Not because it tells you a story out loud, but because it reminds you that time can be held without being hurried. A little gentle science held with care. Ice layers can trap tiny bubbles of air, small particles, and subtle traces of the environment from the time they formed. Scientists study ice cores to learn about past climates. But tonight, we don't need the data. We only need the feeling. The world has ways of remembering that don't involve replaying the same thought again and again. Soft humor, affectionate. The ice sheet is like the ultimate journaler. It records everything for ages, and then never ever reads it back before bed. Honestly, that's the healthiest journaling habit I've ever seen. Standing here in your imagination, you might notice how your own memories behave differently. In the quiet, they can soften. They can stop shouting. They can become more like layers than sharp pictures. And that can feel like relief. Because so often, memory in a human mind arrives with a lot of commentary. Should have, could have, why did I? Like a talkative narrator who never goes to sleep. But the ice doesn't do that. The ice simply holds. It keeps what it keeps, and it keeps moving slowly. It doesn't argue with the past. It doesn't cling to it dramatically. It holds it the way a tree holds rings, the way stone holds strata, gently and without judgment. And our question returns again, now braided into wonder. What does it mean for a landscape to hold you? Maybe it means it teaches you a new way to hold your own life. Not with tight fists, not with endless replay, with layers, with space, with the understanding that time can pass and still leave something meaningful behind. So tonight, imagine your worries becoming like snow. A thin layer, then another. Nothing heavy enough to crush you. Just soft accumulation, held safely somewhere outside your body. You don't have to carry every memory in your muscles. You can set some of them down into the quiet of the ice. Inhale slowly, as if placing a memory gently on a shelf. Exhale longer, as if stepping back and letting it rest there. The ice remembers without suffering, and you tonight can rest without solving the past. Greenland teaches slowness in the most convincing way, by simply being what it is. Fjords carved over long time, glaciers moving with patience, ice sheets layered like quiet paragraphs stacked one on top of another. Here, slow doesn't look like behind. Slow looks like true. In the modern world, speed gets a lot of compliments. People praise fast replies, fast growth, fast results. But Greenland's landscapes seem to smile softly at that idea, like, that's adorable. Because here, the most powerful changes happen gently, over seasons, over years, over lengths of time that don't fit into a calendar reminder. A little gentle science, held lightly. Glaciers move centimeters to meters per day, depending on conditions, and their carving can shape valleys and fjords over thousands of years. Wind shapes snow into ridges slowly. Ice forms, melts, refreezes again and again until the landscape has its quiet signature. Nature does not rush to become itself. Soft humor, warm and friendly. Greenland would be terrible at productivity coaching. Its advice would be, have you tried being an ice sheet? Very effective. Minimal meetings. If you imagine standing in that wide, white quiet, you may feel an emotion rise, something like permission. Permission to stop sprinting. Permission to do one thing at a time. Permission to be a person, not a machine with endless updates. And our question returns, calmer and deeper. What does it mean for a landscape to hold you? Maybe it means it holds you away from the pressure to hurry. It gives your nervous system a new reference point. It shows you that a slow pace can still belong to life, to growth, to meaning. Slowness can be a form of care. It can be the way you move when you want to avoid breaking something delicate. And you are delicate sometimes. Your heart, your mind, your tiredness. Slowness is not a failure. Slowness can be gentleness toward yourself. So tonight, let your breath be slow on purpose. Let your thoughts arrive and leave without being chased. Let your body take up space without apologizing. Imagine your mind as a glacier, not cold emotionally, but calm in its pace, steady, real, patient enough to hold its shape. Inhale, like a long winter night. Exhale, like water smoothing into stillness. You don't have to be fast to be worthy. You don't have to be loud to be seen. You don't have to be done to be okay. Greenland reminds you, slow is a real kind of power. And tonight, slow is enough. In the wild, cooperation often looks so ordinary you might miss it because it doesn't wear a neon sign. In Greenland, where the landscape feels minimal, cooperation becomes even more beautiful. It's subtle, it's practical, it's quiet life helping quiet life. Think of lichen again, two different kinds of organisms living together, sharing space and survival. Think of moss holding moisture like a tiny sponge, making a harsh rock feel softer. Think of sea ice offering micro shelters, little pockets where tiny life can exist in cold water. Think of animals traveling in small groups, close enough to share warmth and calm. A small piece of gentle science kept soft. Ecosystems are full of relationships, some direct, some indirect, where one life makes conditions better for another. Not always on purpose, not always kindness in a human sense, but still supportive in effect. The world becomes livable because many lives are woven together. Soft humor, like a fond chuckle. Nature is basically the original group project. But unlike human group projects, it somehow works. No one disappears and shows up at the last minute with "Sorry, I was busy." Everyone just quietly does their part. There's something emotionally soothing about that. Because when you're tired, you can start to feel like you have to do everything alone, carry everything, solve everything, be everything. But the landscape gently disagrees. The landscape says, "Look closer. Nothing here exists in isolation." Even the fjord holds the iceberg. The iceberg shades the water. The water moves nutrients. The cliffs offer ledges. The birds settle. The snow insulates. It's a web, not a ladder, a network, not a race. And our question returns, now with a warm answer forming. What does it mean for a landscape to hold you? Maybe it means it reminds you that support can be quiet. You don't always need big gestures. Sometimes support is small and steady, like a ledge that holds a nest, like a layer of snow that muffles sound, like a warm window in the distance. So tonight, let yourself be held by quiet cooperation too. Let your pillow hold your head. Let the blanket hold your shoulders. Let the bed hold your weight without complaint. These are simple supports, but they matter. They're the indoor version of moss on stone. Inhale slowly and imagine receiving help without guilt. Exhale longer and imagine letting go of the idea that you must do everything alone. The wild survives through connection, and you, tonight, can rest through connection too. Even if that connection is simply the night air, your bed, and this gentle story beside you. Greenland is full of letting go that doesn't feel sad. It feels natural, quiet, almost graceful. A glacier releases an iceberg, and the iceberg drifts away, not as a tragedy, but as a continuation. Snow falls and becomes part of the ice sheet. Sea ice forms and thins and forms again. Light shifts. Wind reshapes the surface. Nothing clings too tightly, and nothing panics about change. The landscape adjusts like a person turning over in sleep, slowly, without drama, just looking for comfort. A little gentle science, wrapped in softness. Melting and freezing are ordinary processes here, part of seasonal rhythms and temperature changes. Water moves from solid to liquid and back again, and the world remains itself. In nature, transformation is often quiet. It doesn't require an announcement. It simply happens, soft humor, warm as a whisper. The ice doesn't say, "I'm reinventing myself this year." It just becomes water for a while, very low-key, very mature. This kind of letting go can feel emotionally healing to witness, even in imagination, because humans sometimes hold on to thoughts the way hands hold sharp objects, too tightly, even when it hurts. You replay a sentence, you revisit a moment, you clutch a worry like it's your job. But Greenland offers another model. Hold things lightly. Let them shift. Let them drift. Not because they never mattered, but because you deserve peace. And our question returns, now almost answered. What does it mean for a landscape to hold you? Maybe it means it holds you through change. It doesn't demand you stay the same. It doesn't demand you fix everything before you rest. It simply stays steady while your thoughts soften and move. So tonight, practice letting go the natural way. Take one thought, just one, that's been circling your mind. Imagine it as a small piece of ice floating on dark water. You can look at it, you can acknowledge it, and then you can let it drift slowly out of view, carried by the tide. Inhale and feel your grip loosen. Exhale and feel the thought move away. Pause and feel the space it leaves behind. You don't have to force release. You can allow it, like snow settling, like water smoothing, like darkness dimming the edges of the day. The landscape doesn't rush you into sleep. It simply shows you the path. Soften, loosen, drift, and rest. Greenland's quiet beauty isn't only in its size. It's in the way life adjusts itself with gentle intelligence. Adaptation here doesn't look like a dramatic makeover. It looks like small design choices repeated over time. Thicker fur, careful timing, compact shapes, patient routines. It's the poetry of becoming suited to your place. On the tundra, plants stay low to the ground, as if they've learned the comfort of not arguing with wind. Some hold on to heat close to the surface. Some grow in small mats that shelter one another. In the fjord, animals move with economy, choosing steady paths and conserving energy, the way you conserve warmth under a blanket. A little gentle science, offered softly. Adaptation happens across many generations. Traits that fit a place tend to remain, and over long time, those traits become a kind of quiet harmony between life and land. It's not a battle in tonight's story. It's more like a slow agreement. The environment suggests and life responds. Soft humor floats in like a calm grin. Greenland doesn't encourage overachieving. Greenland encourages appropriate achieving. The motto is basically, do what works, then lie down. And there's something emotionally tender about that, because humans often adapt in ways that aren't always kind to themselves. Tight schedules, constant alerts, endless pressure. But nature's adaptation usually aims for steadiness, warmth, balance, rest when rest is needed. Our question returns, gently shaped by this theme. What does it mean for a landscape to hold you? Maybe it means it invites you to adapt too, not by becoming harder, but by becoming softer in the right places. Maybe it means you learn how to protect your energy, how to choose calm, how to live in a way that matches your needs. So tonight, borrow Greenland's style of adaptation. If your day has been heavy, don't try to push through it. Instead, respond to it the way a moss responds to cold, by staying close to warmth, by holding moisture, by existing gently. Inhale and imagine your body adjusting toward comfort. Exhale and imagine your mind choosing the simplest path back to quiet. Adaptation can be gentle, and tonight, gentleness is enough. A fjord can feel like being held without being touched. The cliffs rise on either side, tall and steady, and the water rests between them like a long, calm hallway. Even the wind seems to move differently here, softer, quieter, because the rock walls guide it, shape it, and sometimes protect the water from the wide-open weather beyond. The feeling is subtle but strong. Shelter. A little gentle science, kept light. Fjords are often narrow and steep-sided, and their shape can reduce wave action and soften strong winds compared to open sea. In some places, the water can be calmer because the landscape itself buffers it. It's not a perfect shield, but it's enough to change the mood. Soft humor slides in. If you've ever wanted a room with good acoustics for silence, the fjord is basically a luxury soundproof studio, built by glaciers, decorated by snow, and curated by the world's most patient interior designer, time. And in that shelter, you can feel something in your chest unclench. Because being held by space, by geography, can feel like being cared for. You don't have to do anything to receive it. You simply exist inside it. Our question returns. What does it mean for a landscape to hold you? Sometimes it means it gives your mind boundaries that feel safe. Not restrictive, just supportive. Like a bowl holding water. Like arms holding a tired child. Like a fjord holding calmness so it doesn't spill everywhere. If you've been feeling scattered, imagine the fjord gathering your thoughts, not forcing them into order, just bringing them closer together so they stop flying around. The cliffs don't argue with the wind, they simply shape it. The fjord doesn't chase the water, it holds it. So let yourself be held tonight too. Let the bed be your fjord. Let the room be your cliff walls. Let the blanket be the snow that softens sharp edges. Inhale slowly, as if you're stepping into a sheltered corridor of quiet. Exhale longer, as if your thoughts are settling into still water. And for a moment, you don't have to be brave. You don't have to be productive. You only have to be here, held by gentle boundaries, safe enough for sleep. Greenland's blues are not loud. They don't shout like tropical water. They murmur. They glow softly in ice, in shadowed fjords, in the deep places where light becomes gentle. There's the blue inside dense glacier ice, like a cool lantern. There's the blue-black of fjord water at night, holding the moon's reflection in thin threads. There's the pale blue haze that sometimes lies over distant ice, making the horizon feel dreamy, as if the world is half in a whisper and half in a sleep. A little gentle science held loosely. Color is light interacting with materials, ice, water, air. Dense ice can filter light in a way that leaves blue tones behind. Water absorbs and reflects light differently depending on angle and depth. But you don't need to carry the explanation tonight. You only need the effect. Blue makes the mind slow down. Soft humor arrives, gentle. Blue is basically nature's calm mode. If your brain had settings, Greenland would be the place where someone quietly clicked reduce brightness. And emotionally, this is the part that matters. Blue can feel like permission. Permission to be quiet. Permission to not have sharp thoughts. Permission to let your inner world become less busy and more spacious. Our question returns. What does it mean for a landscape to hold you? Maybe it means it holds your mind in a calmer frequency, like tuning a radio away from static, like dimming the lights in a room so you stop noticing every tiny flaw. So tonight, let Greenland's blue wash over your thoughts. Imagine your worries losing their sharp outlines, becoming softer shapes. Imagine your breath taking on a cooler, steadier pace. Imagine your body settling into the bed the way an iceberg settles into still water, supported, held, allowed. Inhale, blue light in. Exhale, soft shadows out. Pause and feel the quiet widen. Not everything needs to be bright to be beautiful. Not everything needs to be solved to be safe. Tonight, the blue is enough. Greenland's rhythms are subtle, but they return again and again, like a familiar song you don't need to think about to enjoy. The tide rises and falls. The wind reshapes snow. The aurora drifts when conditions allow. The darkness lingers, then softens. Even the small sounds of ice repeat. A faint tick, a quiet pop, a gentle creak. These repeating patterns can feel deeply comforting because they don't demand novelty. They don't insist you improve. They simply arrive, do what they do, and return when it's time. A little gentle science offered softly. Many natural rhythms are cyclical. Daily temperature shifts, lunar tides, seasonal light changes. In the Arctic, these cycles can be more extreme in length, but the principle remains. The world moves in patterns, not in constant surprises. Soft humor, warm and small. Nature loves a routine. It's basically the most dependable creature in the room. No drama, just hello again. Here's the tide, here's the wind. You're welcome. And emotionally, those patterns can help your body relax, because the human nervous system loves predictable signals. It loves steady breathing, steady sounds, steady light. A fjord at night offers that steadiness in a way that feels like a lullaby made of geology and water. Our question returns, almost answered. What does it mean for a landscape to hold you? Maybe it means it gives you a pattern to lean on when your mind feels scattered. It offers repetition that isn't boring. It's soothing, like a rocking chair, like a heartbeat, like a familiar phrase whispered at bedtime. So tonight, let yourself follow a simple pattern too. Inhale, exhale, pause. Inhale, exhale, pause. If a thought tries to interrupt, Let it pass like a gust of wind that doesn't stay. The pattern will return. Your breath will return. The calm will return. You don't have to grab it. You only have to allow it. And as Greenland continues its steady rhythms beyond your room, tides and ice and quiet light, let that steadiness become a soft support under your mind. Now, as our journey begins to turn gently toward rest, the question from earlier returns. Not louder, just closer. Like the smell of clean air remembered in your pillow. Like a phrase you almost forgot, then suddenly feel again. What does it mean for a landscape to hold you? We've watched fjords gather calm between cliff walls. We've watched snow soften sound. We've watched ice hold time in layers. We've imagined animals resting in their own quiet routines. And slowly, without forcing any conclusions, a simple answer begins to appear. A landscape holds you by offering steadiness, by offering space, by offering patterns that soothe. It doesn't hold you by squeezing. It holds you by making room. It gives your mind somewhere to expand until it stops feeling trapped. It gives your breathing something gentle to copy. It gives your thoughts a surface like still water, so they can float without sinking you. Soft humor is barely there now, like a sleepy smile. Greenland's holding style is basically, I will support you, but quietly, like a very polite blanket. And in this descent towards sleep, that's enough. So let your shoulders sink a little deeper into your bed. Let your jaw loosen. Let your hands rest where they naturally fall. Imagine the fjord around you, cliff walls becoming the edges of your room, the ice sheet becoming the smooth calm of your sheets, the polar night becoming the gentle dimness behind your eyes. Inhale slowly, as if drawing in the steadiness of ice. Exhale longer, as if releasing the last sharp corners of the day. You don't have to answer the question with words. You can answer it with your body, by allowing yourself to be held. Held by the bed, held by the quiet, held by the steady rhythm of your breath. And as we continue, we won't add many new facts. We'll simply drift, softly, gently, back into stillness, letting Greenland's calm become your calm, until sleep feels like the most natural place to go. As we drift a little farther into the quiet, the fjord begins to feel less like a place we're visiting and more like a feeling we're borrowing. The water is still there, dark, wide, gentle, but now it doesn't ask for your attention. It simply offers steadiness, the way a calm hand rests on your shoulder without needing to say anything. The surface of the fjord looks like it's been carefully smoothed, not perfectly flat, not rigid, just softly even, like a sheet pulled up to the chin. Moonlight lies across it in thin lines, stretching and relaxing with the smallest movements. If a piece of ice drifts by, it does so quietly, leaving barely a suggestion of a wake. And in that slow scene, you may notice your own breath becoming easier. Not forced, not fixed, just less busy. As if your body recognizes the fjord's rhythm and thinks, yes, that seems reasonable. Yes, we can do that. A small thought returns like a gentle tide. What does it mean for a landscape to hold you? Tonight, it might mean the water holds the sky without effort, and you can hold yourself with the same kind of softness. Not gripping, not bracing, just supporting, There's a quiet kindness in how the fjord receives everything. It receives light without clinging. It receives ice without resistance. It receives sound and lets it fade naturally. And you can do the same with your thoughts. A thought can arrive, something small, something ordinary, and instead of wrestling with it, you can let it float for a moment, then drift away. If you want a tiny bit of humor, only as gentle as a yawn, the fjord would be an excellent therapist. It would listen, nod slowly, and say absolutely nothing. Yet somehow you'd leave feeling better. Now imagine the edges of the fjord as the edges of your bed. The cliffs become the safe boundaries of your room. The dark water becomes the soft space behind your eyelids. Everything is held. Everything belongs. Inhale slowly, like the tide easing in. Exhale longer, like the tide easing back. Let your shoulders sink down as if they've been waiting all day for permission. Let your forehead soften. Let your tongue rest in your mouth as if it finally found a comfortable position. And if you feel yourself drifting, just slightly, let it happen. You don't have to guide it. The fjord doesn't guide the moonlight. It simply lets it be. So tonight, allow the water to teach your body one simple skill: how to smooth, how to settle, how to become still, gently, from the inside out. Somewhere above the fjord, the wind moves, softly enough that it almost feels imagined. Not a gust, not a push. More like the quiet shifting of air in a room when someone opens a door slowly, careful not to wake anyone. In Greenland, wind can be a sculptor, shaping snow into gentle ridges and smoothing surfaces over time. But tonight, we don't need the long story. Tonight, the wind is simply a whisper. It brushes the cliff faces, slips along the water, and then thins out into silence again, as if it knows exactly how much is enough. You can almost hear it, faint, airy, like a breath outside your own breath. Sometimes it threads between rocks, making a soft, hollow hush. Sometimes it passes over snow and creates a delicate sound like someone lightly shaking out a blanket. The landscape doesn't react dramatically. It receives the wind the way a sleepy person receives a quiet lullaby, by relaxing even more. And when you notice that, your body may follow, because your nervous system is always listening for cues. It listens to rooms. It listens to night. It listens to the softness of a story. And the wind, tonight, is a cue that nothing needs to be tightened. The question returns again, almost as a comfort phrase. What does it mean for a landscape to hold you? It can mean the wind touches everything, but nothing is demanded to respond. The fjord doesn't have to do anything about the wind. The ice doesn't have to explain itself. The snow simply rests where it is. So let yourself rest where you are. Imagine the wind moving across your thoughts, the same way it moves across the ice sheet, lightly, without grabbing. A thought can be there, and then it can soften around the edges. A memory can appear, and then it can become quieter, like a sound growing distant. If you're lying down, feel how the bed supports you, not as an idea physically. The weight of your shoulders, your hips, your legs. Notice how the support is steady and uncomplicated. It doesn't ask you to deserve it. It simply holds you. Inhale slowly, as if you're drawing in cool, clean air. Exhale longer, as if the wind is gently carrying tension away. Let your hands rest heavy. Let your feet relax. Let your eyelids feel pleasantly weighted, like soft curtains lowering. The wind continues, whispering and fading, whispering and fading. It doesn't stay long. It comes and goes the way comfort comes and goes, quietly, naturally, without a big explanation. And as it quiets even further, you may notice something lovely. The space inside your mind begins to feel wider, smoother, calmer, like a fjord at night, holding stillness the way a bowl holds water, until sleep starts to feel less like an effort and more like a place you simply drift into. Now the journey begins to lower its voice even more. The images become softer. The edges of the world blur slightly in the way they do when you're close to sleep. Nothing sharp, nothing demanding, just a gradual settling. Imagine Greenland's evening as a slow snowfall. Not necessarily new snow falling, but the feeling of snow, the way it hushes sound, the way it softens outlines, the way it makes everything look gently forgiven. The cliffs become quieter silhouettes. The fjord becomes a dark, smooth shape. The ice sheet becomes a pale presence, wide, calm, patient, and inside you, something begins to settle too. The question from earlier returns one last time, now like a whisper tucked into a pillow. What does it mean for a landscape to hold you? It can mean the world is still here, steady and kind, while you let go of the need to manage everything. It can mean you are allowed to be unfinished tonight. You are allowed to be tired tonight. You are allowed to rest without explanation. If your mind still offers a few thoughts, little errands, tiny worries, half sentences, let them be like flakes that land and melt into the surface of calm. You don't have to brush them away. You don't have to follow them. You can let them settle into quiet and become part of the background. Inhale slowly. Exhale longer. With each exhale, imagine the day leaving you the way warmth leaves a cup of tea over time, gently, naturally, without being forced. Your body knows how to do this. It has done it before. Sleep is not a puzzle you must solve. It's a familiar room you return to. Let your jaw soften. Let the muscles around your eyes loosen. Let your shoulders sink, as if the bed is slowly taking over the job of holding you. The fjord in your imagination remains still. The ice remains pale and quiet. The wind has almost completely learned to whisper. Sound has thinned into softness. The world feels dimmer, kinder, more distant, in the comforting way that tells you you don't have to pay attention anymore. And now, as the descent completes itself, you can begin the final rest. No more searching for the right feeling. No more aiming, just drifting. Inhale and feel your breath arrive like a slow tide. Exhale and feel your breath leave like a tide easing away. Everything in Greenland continues its gentle rhythms without you doing anything at all. And you can do the same. You can simply settle. You can simply soften. You can simply sleep. In the final rest, we don't need to travel anymore. We don't need new scenes. We let the fjord become a lullaby, one that plays quietly in the background of your mind until your thoughts grow drowsy and drift away. Picture the fjord again, but simpler now. Dark water, a faint ribbon of moonlight, the steady outline of cliffs, a small piece of ice resting on the surface like a floating sigh. Everything is calm enough to feel unreal in the sweetest way, like a dream that doesn't need a plot. The water makes a soft sound against the shore, repeating gently, like a phrase you've heard so many times it becomes comforting rather than interesting. The air is cool and clean. The night is wide, and your body, here in your bed, begins to take that same shape of calm, supported, steady, unbothered. If your mind tries to speak, let it speak quietly. If it tries to plan, let the plan dissolve into softness. You don't have to turn off thoughts. You can let them fade the way distant lights fade when you close your eyes. Inhale slowly. Exhale longer. Imagine the bed as ice sheet soft, smooth, wide, holding you without effort. Imagine the blanket as snow, quiet, insulating, tender. Imagine the room as fjord walls, safe boundaries that gently keep the world out for a while. A tiny micro-humor as soft as a lullaby. Even the stones in Greenland seem relaxed. They've had a lot of practice. And tonight, you're allowed to practice too, without grading yourself. Let your breathing become the main sound. Let it be the tide. Inhale like the water easing in. Exhale like the water easing back. With each exhale, something loosens. Shoulders, forehead. The small muscles you didn't realize were working. If you feel emotion rise, quiet gratitude, quiet relief, let it be there. The fjord holds reflections without judgment. You can hold feelings without judgment, and then you can let them settle. The scene stays gentle and repetitive. Water, moonlight, stillness, breath, and the repetition is the point. Repetition is how lullabies work. Repetition is how sleep arrives. It comes in soft loops, not sharp lines. So stay in the loop, breathe, and drift, and let the fjord sing you into quiet until the story becomes less like words and more like warm darkness. And then, nothing you have to do at all. Now let your mind open into a wide, pale space, like the Greenland ice sheet under a quiet sky. It isn't bright, it isn't empty, it's simply spacious, the way a clean page feels spacious before you write anything on it. Imagine a soft horizon, snow and ice stretching outward in gentle gradients, the wind barely moving, the surface smooth in some places, lightly textured in others, like the faintest pattern on fabric, and above it all, a calm sky, stars resting where they are, as if they've decided to keep still for you tonight. In this wide space, thoughts don't feel crowded. If a thought appears, it appears like a tiny dot on a huge field, noticeable for a moment, then naturally less important. The ice sheet doesn't chase anything. It doesn't chase the wind. It doesn't chase the light. It simply remains, and that remaining becomes a kind of peace you can borrow. Inhale slowly. Exhale longer. With each breath, imagine the space growing wider, not as an effort, as a gentle allowance. The mind loosens when it has room. If you've been carrying tension in your chest, imagine that tension as a small patch of darker color on the ice sheet. With the next exhale, let it fade into white. Not erased forcefully, just softened, like snow covering a footprint, like quiet covering a sound. Your body, meanwhile, continues its own slow settling. The weight of your head, the heaviness of your arms, the comfort of not needing to hold yourself up. The bed does it for you. The night does it for you. The story does it for you. A tiny, lullaby-level smile. If your brain tries to organize this wide, white space, it might realize there's nothing to sort. Just white. just calm. It's like the simplest room in the world, and that simplicity is a gift. Let the breath become slower if it wants to. Let the pauses between breaths feel safe. You don't need to fill them. The ice sheet doesn't fill its horizon with noise. It lets the quiet be enough. Picture yourself resting there, not cold, not exposed, just peacefully held in a dream of softness. A gentle blanket of snow, a smooth bed of calm, a wide field where your mind can finally stop bumping into things. And as you drift deeper, the images can thin out. The horizon can blur. The white can become a soft glow behind your eyelids. The story can become simply breathing. Inhale, exhale. And somewhere in that wide, quiet Greenland dream, sleep begins to arrive, not as an event, but as a gentle melting into rest. In this last stretch, we let everything become simpler. The Greenland scenes don't need to be sharp anymore. They can be like shapes behind frosted glass, felt more than seen. Imagine the fjord again, but now it's only the essentials. Dark water, a faint line of moonlight, and the calm sense that something steady is holding everything in place. The water doesn't sparkle for attention. It rests. It repeats its quiet motion against the shore, small, steady, soothing. If a thought appears, let it be like a small ripple. A ripple doesn't mean anything is wrong. A ripple is simply movement returning to stillness. It rises gently, then smooths out, and the surface becomes calm again. Inhale slowly. Exhale longer. Let your breath be that same kind of ripple. A gentle rise. A gentle fall. Nothing to achieve. Nothing to force. The body knows this rhythm the way the fjord knows its tide. In the distance, you might imagine a piece of ice, white and quiet, drifting without effort. It doesn't steer. It doesn't worry about direction. It simply rests on the water and allows the current to do the work. That's what rest can feel like tonight, letting the current carry you. Even your muscles can take that cue. Let your shoulders sink. Let your hands grow heavier. Let the small muscles in your face release their work, as if they're finally clocking out for the night. A tiny micro-humor, barely more than a sleepy grin. If your worries try to follow you here, they may look around at the fjord and realize there's nowhere to network. No meetings, no agenda, just water. They'll get bored and wander off. And then you're left with the simple things: breath, weight, quiet. The fjord doesn't ask you to stay awake. It doesn't demand your attention. It simply offers the feeling of being held by something older and steadier than your thoughts. A place where the day can dissolve, drop by drop, into the dark water of night. Inhale, slow and gentle. Exhale, longer and softer. And if your mind wants to drift, let it drift. If it wants to fade, let it fade. You don't have to follow it. You don't have to guide it. The water knows how to return to stillness on its own. Now we arrive at the simplest comfort of all, the feeling that you belong to the quiet. Greenland's landscapes don't argue for their right to exist. The fjord belongs to the cliffs. The ice belongs to the cold. The night belongs to the sky. And each part fits so naturally that you stop questioning it. You just feel it. Yes, this is how it is. This is enough. And you can borrow that certainty tonight. You belong to rest the way the ice belongs to winter. Not because you earned it, Not because you were perfect today, simply because you are a living body, and living bodies need sleep. That's not a weakness, that's nature. Inhale slowly, exhale longer. As you breathe, let your mind imagine a soft, steady place inside you, like a small, sheltered inlet in the fjord, where the water is calmer, where the wind doesn't reach as strongly. Let that sheltered place be yours, a quiet corner where thoughts can't shout. If a feeling rises, gratitude, relief, a tiny sadness, a soft sweetness, let it rise gently. Feelings can exist without being solved. They can be held the way the landscape holds snow, softly, without judgment, without pressure. A tiny whisper of humor, as gentle as a lullaby. Even the aurora, when it visits, never seems stressed. It just shows up, sways around beautifully and leaves. Honestly, iconic. Now let the images become more distant. The fjord becomes a shape. The ice becomes a glow. The cliffs become a soft boundary. You don't need details. You only need the mood, quiet, steady, safe. Inhale, exhale. With each breath, feel your body settling deeper into what's holding it. The bed, the pillow, the blanket, the stillness in the room, the calm of the night. Everything is supporting you in small, steady ways. And as you settle, let yourself believe something simple. You don't have to carry everything right now. You can set the day down. You can let tomorrow stay in tomorrow. You can rest in the only job you have tonight. Breathing, softening, sleeping. The story grows quieter now, like a candle lowering its flame. Greenland becomes less like a place and more like a gentle rhythm. The slow breath of the fjord, the wide hush of the ice sheet, the soft patience of snow. The world is still moving, but it moves in a way that doesn't disturb you. It moves like water under ice, steady, hidden, calm. In your mind's eye, the fjord is dark and smooth. Moonlight rests on it like a thin silver thread. The cliffs stand quietly, like they've always stood, like they will keep standing while you sleep. Somewhere out there, ice drifts in small, pale shapes, and the air remains cool and clean and kind. Inhale slowly, exhale longer. Let the spaces between breaths feel peaceful. Let them feel safe. You don't need to fill them with thoughts. You don't need to fill them with plans. The night is already full, with quiet, with steadiness, with the soft belonging of being alive. If your mind offers a last thought, let it be a small one. Let it drift like a tiny piece of ice, carried away gently on dark water. No grabbing, no chasing, just letting go. Your body is heavy now, in the best way. Your muscles have softened. Your face has relaxed. Your breathing has found its slow rhythm, and that rhythm is enough. Like tides, like wind, like the quiet pulse of the earth. And as the final images fade, fjord, ice sheet, soft polar night, let the darkness behind your eyelids become warm, like a familiar room. Here are the closing lines, unchanged. Everything flows through the wild. Sleep in that motion.